What's up, nigga? What's up, nigga? What's up, nigga? Imagine getting a sales course from a man speaking like that. What are you doing with your life? No, with all seriousness, this is not a course, it's a lesson. I think the lessons I'm about to give here, people pay hundreds of thousands to get them. And people have trained for many years. You're about to get them for practically nothing. Pay close attention to this, because with this information I'm about to give you, you can sell anything. You just need to understand these concepts. These are human nature concepts on how humans behave. Humans like to think they're very rational creatures. They're not. They behave very, very similar to animals. We're all animals at the end of the day. No offense, in a good way. So you can predict what a human is, how they're going to act. If you can predict how they're going to act, you can basically influence that. If you understand how they're coming to these decisions, how they're acting. So I'm going to start with belief. That's the foundation of every decision humans make. Belief. They believe an outcome would come from this decision or will not come from this decision. And that's how they act. And fear and all these other things have been used by the great men of war, by the political men. But that's not why we're here. We're talking about sales. So belief. Belief. If you do not believe you can sell 10K, 20K, 50K, 100K a month, it's not going to happen. If you do not believe that a roach is on your food right now, I don't know where I'm going with this, but you get the point. Belief is number one. You have to believe in what you're selling. If you do not believe in what you're selling, you're not gonna have the conviction to sell it. The next thing is you have to make the person you're selling to believe that they need what you're selling. Not only make them believe, you have to make them see it. 9 times out of 10, they actually need it. So you have to make sure you identify the problem. The problem. After you identify it, make sure they can relive that problem. Make sure they can remember all the things they despise or do not like about that problem. And then finally, make them believe that you have the solution to the trauma or the pain they're facing, right? So that's that. Number 2, no commissions. I've said that in the business lessons, teachings, and I'm saying it here again. Do not sell for commission. Build your own thing and then sell that. You could be doing the same thing. Do not sell for commission. Do not. Unless you've engaged with men of competence and so on, that's a different story. But if you're starting out as a shit muncher, building your enterprise, I recommend you do not sell for commission. So what this lesson is going to be, I'm not giving you sales closing tips. I'm not giving you tonality tips, how to use your tone. I'm not giving you all that fluff. It's all over the internet. I'm giving you data that you're going to use. Come back here when you get lost in sales. Just come back here. I'm pretty sure the solution is here. I'm going to give you what industries you should sell in, or what industries you should consider building a business if you have not thought about it, if you have not chosen, or you're still thinking about where you're going to sell. And when I say I'm going to give you an industry or business to sell in, I am saying more, and please listen, reconsider if you're doing something else. Because you're going to fail if you start going to sell cars and all this other nonsense people sell. I have done a great amount of thinking, and I have a network of competent men doing the same thing. I'm going to connect all you guys at one point, and this all comes together. You can do whatever you so choose, but and when I say I highly suggest, moron, you better want to take my advice, trust me. You want to sell or build a business in the accounting industry or bookkeeping. You can start a bookkeeping agency or accounting. That's not high ticket, but it's recurring. Very extremely powerful. The next one is you want to have a recruiting. If you don't want that, a recruiting or staffing agency. The next option I've seen is marketing or lead generation. Marketing agency or lead generation. Next one is video production. Anything that has to do with video, audio, editing, and that stuff, capturing media. Music production, as ideally as a engineer, not a musician, my friend, as an engineer or a beat maker or whatever. Software, SaaS sales, selling software, meaning you've developed or you have some licensing that you could sell, high ticket. Or if you're that smart, you could be a tutor, private school tutor all these kids, and that's also high ticket. I have a bunch of other options here too, but it's all high ticket sales for luxury stuff, pest control sales, which I don't recommend, virtual events or events, SaaS sales, I've already addressed that, SaaS sales. You can do luxury goods sales, cars, watches. I do not recommend that. It's nothing long term. You can do mergers and acquisitions, which I'm going to provide the training for that. I repeat that, I do not recommend mergers and acquisitions when you are at the pit latrine level. It's going to wreck you. Because you need money to live. You need money to function. That's going to wreck you. It's a very long sale. I recommend it in your journey. I do not recommend it to begin with. I have done M&A. My friend, there's a lesson in it somewhere. Roofing, solar, HVAC, home remodeling, cosmetic, all that stuff. Cosmetic, surgery for the people that want to be sexier, legal sales, all that stuff, plastic surgery. You can do all this stuff. It's nothing long term. You're going to constantly have to sell always. At one point, you're not going to have a network of competent men, because competent men are never in these spaces because it's very short term. Weight loss sales, chiropractor sales, real estate sales, private coaching sales. Nothing long term there, buddy. Go back to the list I gave you. I highly suggested those. You're going to be fine. Okay. So now, let's get serious. We've always been serious, haven't we? Human beings are animals of, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but they're animals of specific patterns. They have specific behaviors that you need to understand. They have motivations. They have all sorts of things. And if you've watched my videos long enough, you understand my philosophy. That human beings are naturally self-interested. All human beings are naturally self-interested. That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing that you understand this. You need to understand this. All human beings are innately self-interested. I'll repeat that. So, there are 3 stages you're going for. All the sales trainings are basically just trying to get you to get past these stages. So for you, as the industrialist, you need to understand the stages you're playing in. Stage 1 is avoidance. Every human being is going to try to avoid you at the first initial interaction, regardless. Girls are a good indicator of this. If you're DMing a bunch of girls and so on, that's the avoidance stage, the way they act. When you're DMing prospects, cold calling people and they hang up, that's the avoidance stage. You can apply this human nature all across the board. There's avoidance. They'll avoid you. So your goal initially is to break through avoidance. You have to overcome avoidance. They have to get comfortable with you. That's what you're working through. So avoidance is what you need to work through, and there are a lot of tactics you could do this. That's where you see the little funny things people do. Using tonality, Creating an environment of safety during the sale, mirroring the person. If they're moving the head this way, you do the same thing. The little funny things salespeople teach you. You're gonna go out there, you're gonna find all those little sales tricks. But always keep this concept in your mind: avoidance. So after avoidance, you have competition. And keynote, the avoidance stage, why celebrities are able to sell out shows and do things fantastically, is because they have cracked this code already. Politicians, celebrities, and popular social media characters, they've cracked this code, so they have the upper hand. That's why you have a fan when they see a celebrity in public. Hey, they're familiar with them already, or they hate them. But they've cracked the avoidance stage. You now have the competition stage. You as a salesperson. Competition. Competition doesn't mean you're competing. Competition means there's dialogue now. The avoidance is cracked. Now they're putting in effort into this relationship. Hey, I'm selling you this product. It's 10,000. Yo, 10,000 is too much. Yo, 10,000. What for that? Yeah. And then now you're adding the value. You're bringing them based in results-based thinking into what they're about to get for that 10,000, making them relive their trauma. Hey, you remember this? You remember that? This is what this 10,000 will do for you. This is what this and so on. Or this is what this product will do for you. If you're doing the music production thing, if you're doing whatever you're selling, and then finally you come to the last stage. Compliance. They comply. They agree. Okay, fine. You sold them. So here's a funny thing about sales. People think, oh, I'm a good sales guy. I closed them. I did my thing. One thing I have truly learned about sales is you never really know why they bought. I don't care what you think, what you did, or what you said. You might have triggered the same emotions that they felt and made the purchase because they didn't want to go back to that reality. But you never truly know why they made the purchase. And I think that's just the truth. So compliance is where they say, hey, okay, I don't have ABCD amount, but I could do so much today and then so much next week and then so on. Or you say, okay, you just go through the final closing. That's what you call closing. You're thinking, oh, I'm going to say this one word. Fair enough. Yes. Nod your head. All those things. And then you made the close. No. Compliance is, after you overcome competition. If you do not overcome competition, if you don't overcome avoidance, you never overcome compliance. Okay, so to simply summarize everything for you here, my friend. Avoidance. Competition, compliance. Avoidance, think about the whole process like a cup, Avoidance, here you fill the cup. Competition, you fill the cup there. Compliance, it goes up all the way there. And avoidance, it doesn't have to be with a stranger. It could be your own friends, family. Your mom walks in your room. Naturally, you're gonna, hide. Hopefully you are not gooning. No. But you get the idea. Avoidance, even when somebody's knocking, it's like you're always skeptical. It's like you're always trying to avoid stuff. Naturally. We're animals. Competition, arguments with your girl. Your girl, listen. You cheer her up. She's good. She's in the vibe. She's in the mood. You hit it. That's compliance. The makeup sex is finally compliance. You have invested into your relationship and now you're making up for it. And that's a compliance. And that's all you're doing in any sales, any arrangement with any human being. It's always happening. So keep this at the back of your mind every time when you're selling. So now let's move on to something called RICE. And by the way, all these are CIA methods. The CIA uses this in their spying and so on. So my friend, this is at the highest level or functioning. The CIA is one of the most competent institutions out there. They have something called RICE. Reward. Ideology. Coercion. And ego. Sounds what it is. So they say every human being has these four motivators. They might be, everyone maybe has some of them, and so on. But reward means money driven. So if you're here, you're normally or usually reward driven. You want the money, which is easier to get things done. Just pay you, execute that, you get paid. It moves you. Ideology, people that believe in stuff, a lot of things. Ideology is what gets them going. Coercion, you compromise somebody. That's not the business we're in. In sales, we don't. It's just a waste of time. Even in real life, in any other relationship, compromising somebody is the weakest form of motivation, to be honest. And then ego, not that you feel you're important, but how the world views you. That's ego. So even the great people, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, and so on, they cared about how the world viewed them. Even today, you have politicians and everybody just cares about how they're viewed. That's what you call ego. So you can motivate based on that at the highest level. As you're engaging with somebody, remember I spoke about question-based scripts. You're using questions to ask the scripts, question-based scripts. During your questioning with the prospect, you're looking for this. Just from the way they speak, you can easily get a sense of what really moves them, what really motivates them. And that's where you start to hit the hammer on the head. So, remember, you're going through this stage like a cop: avoidance, competition, compliance. But you're looking for what? Their beliefs. They might have ideology beliefs. They might be reward driven. So you're speaking more as far as money. Yeah, listen, if we close this deal, do you understand that next year you will be grossing $2 billion? Speak with conviction, and if that's what your product's going to do, let them understand it clearly. Let them understand the reward. Ideology, let them understand if they care about what people think about them. Imagine how you would feel if your mom looked at you today and you attained this thing and that thing. They care about what others think about them, ideology or their religion or their family or whatever they care about, their ideology. Coercion, you're not going to compromise somebody and close them. You're wasting time, my friend. And then ego, same thing. How they're viewed, how society views them. If you're selling advertising, for example, we're going to put you on the Forbes. Look at what you've attained. Don't you not want the world to see what you're doing, the good things you're doing, how much money you've given it, that kind of stuff. So you have to understand what really motivates them, and then you have to keep pushing on that self-interest, because that's what they believe. That's what's in their belief system. And then finally, you have to convince them that you are the right person that could execute that on their self-interest at the highest level. This sales course is the only sales course you're ever going to need. The rest is just simply speaking. Learn how to speak, learn how to articulate your offer. You're going to be fine. You're going to close a lot of deals. You will never know why they really bought from you.